Hey there, deep divers. Ready to jump into something unexpected? We're talking about the revival of 3D movies. Yeah, I know you're probably thinking, ugh, those glasses, right, and expensive tickets.
Yeah.
But what if VR is actually changing the whole 3D thing? It's like some of those old ideas that were just a little too early, Just waiting for the tech to catch up.
What's interesting is 3D movies weren't bad in themselves. The tech just wasn't there yet, Like, remember those glasses, dim screens? You never felt like you were really there. No wonder they kind of disappeared for a while.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I always felt like I was getting tunnel vision with those glasses. It wasn't like I was actually transported to another world. It just felt like a gimmick, honestly.
Exactly. But now with VR headsets, all those problems are gone. Now you're not just watching a 3D movie, you're in it. The headset just fills your entire vision. You're immersed in the world of the film. And the 3D effect is so much smoother and more natural than anything you'd see in a theater because VR uses separate images for each eye.
Really? No more headaches, no more blurry images. Where do I sign up? But, VR's been around for a bit, right? Why is it suddenly the solution for 3D movies?
Yeah, that's true. VR has definitely had its ups and downs. Those early headsets were so expensive and big, and there just wasn't that much you could do with them. But the tech has gotten so much better so quickly. Today's headsets are way more affordable, comfortable, and easy to use. Plus, there's more and more incredible VR stuff to do and see, including 3D movies that really take advantage of that immersive format.
So you're saying it's not just watching old movies with a fancy headset. There's actually new content being made for VR 3D.
Absolutely. Imagine this. Instead of just watching a spaceship battle, you could be in the cockpit. You could feel the G-forces as you fly through asteroid fields, or imagine exploring an alien planet. You could actually interact with the environment and find hidden details. VR lets filmmakers create experiences you just couldn't have in a regular movie theater.
Okay, that is seriously cool.
Yeah.
But one of the things I've always loved about movies is going to the theater, sharing popcorn, gasping at plot twists, laughing with other people. Can VR actually do that?
That's where these shared virtual spaces come in. Picture this. Virtual movie theaters where you can meet up with friends from anywhere in the world. You can choose your avatars, enjoy a movie together. Just like you're in an actual theater. You get that social interaction and shared experience, but you could be watching from a virtual spaceship or a cozy cabin in the woods.
Whoa. So you could have movie nights with friends across the country, all in our pajamas.
Yeah.
But feel like we're in a real theater. That's pretty mind-blowing. Okay, but tell me, how does VR actually make the 3D better? Aside from the whole virtual theater thing, what makes the 3D itself so much better in VR?
Well, think about your field of view. In a theater, you're just limited to what's on that screen. But VR gives you a full 360-degree view. The scenes wrap around you. You get a sense of depth and scale that just isn't possible on a flat screen.
So it's like if a dinosaur's running at you in a VR movie, you'd actually duck. But in a theater, it'd just feel like a big image.
Exactly. And the way VR handles depth perception is really important because each eye is seeing a slightly different image. It makes the illusion of depth so convincing. You're not just seeing 3D. You're feeling it in a way that's never been possible before. And it's not just about making 3D better. It's about how VR can bring old content back to life. Imagine classic movies like Casablanca or Metropolis remastered in amazing 3D for VR. It would be like seeing these movies for the first time.
Oh, wow. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Can you imagine Humphrey Bogart in 3D? It would be like stepping back in time, but wouldn't that be a lot of work? Remastering all those old movies for VR?
It's definitely a challenge, but things are changing so fast. There are amazing new breakthroughs in AI and machine learning that can do a lot of the conversion automatically. And as VR becomes more popular, the demand for that kind of content will just keep pushing things forward.
Like they say, necessity is the mother of invention, right? People want to see these old movies in a new way. That's going to make all sorts of new things possible. But it's not just movies, is it? What about other kinds of old content?
Exactly. Think about old photos and home videos. What if you could actually step inside those memories, relive those moments in immersive 3D? Researchers are already using things like photogrammetry and these things called NeurFs, neural radiance fields, to create 3D environments from 2D images. It's like building a time machine out of pixels.
Hold on. You mean my old grainy family photos? Could be turned into 3D worlds. That's insane. But how does that even work? I'm picturing someone having to model every little thing by hand.
Oh no, it's much more advanced than that. NeurFs use AI to look at 2D images and figure out the 3D shape of a scene. It's like teaching a computer to see the world the way we do, understanding depth and shape from flat pictures. And with these things called Gaussian splats, they use point clouds to represent 3D data. We can create these super realistic, detailed environments from even the simplest source material.
So you're saying like my childhood bedroom, with that embarrassing poster on the wall, could be recreated in VR. This is getting a little too real for me. But seriously, the possibilities for historical preservation and storytelling are amazing.
Exactly. Imagine being able to walk through ancient Rome or explore Victorian London. VR can make history come alive like never before.
I'm really seeing how this is way bigger than just entertainment now. We're talking about a whole new way of experiencing and understanding the past. But let's take a step back for a second. We've talked about movies, photos, historical stuff. Is there anything VR can't do? Where does this all go?
That's a great question. That question takes us to the edge of XR technology and this whole idea of the metaverse. Imagine a world where every street, every building, everything is mapped in 3D. A digital twin of reality. We could walk through virtual cities, explore other planets, even step inside historical events, all from home.
Whoa. So we're talking about like a fully immersive digital world where the lines between real and virtual disappear. That's straight out of science fiction. But how close are we to that?
We're still in the early stages, for sure. But things are moving so fast. Companies are already mapping entire cities in 3D, creating detailed models for planning, disaster response, even virtual tourism. And with 5G and whatever comes next, we're getting the infrastructure to handle all that data.
Okay, now you're really blowing my mind.
Yeah.
A semantically mapped world where everything is connected and you can access it in VR. That's incredibly. But what would that even look like in real life? How would people use this digital twin world?
Well, think about how we use the internet now. We get information, connect with people, share experiences. The metaverse would take all that to the next level. We could interact with information and each other in a fully immersive 3D world.
So instead of browsing websites, we'd be walking through virtual libraries, going to virtual concerts, even designing virtual buildings. The possibilities are endless. But wouldn't that need a ton of computing power and internet speed?
Absolutely. We're talking about huge amounts of data, but the tech industry is moving fast. We're seeing huge advances in cloud computing, edge computing, even quantum computing. That could be the key to making the metaverse a reality.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But so exciting. We're on the end of a revolution that could change everything about how we live, work, and interact with the world. But before we go too far into the future, let's come back to the present. What can our listeners do right now to experience VR and 3D?
That's a great question. There's a whole VR world out there waiting to be explored.
So where do we go from here? If someone's listening and thinking, okay, I'm in VR, sounds amazing, what should they do?
The good news is VR is easier to get into than ever. You don't need a super expensive gaming PC anymore. There are standalone headsets out there at all kinds of prices. You can get some really incredible experiences.
Okay, cool. What about the content? Is it just games or are there 3D movies you can watch on these headsets?
Oh yeah, tons of great stuff. There are VR streaming platforms dedicated to it. You can find those remastered classic films in 3D, new releases made for VR, even interactive stuff that's like a mix of movies and games.
Whoa, interactive 3D movies.
Yeah.
So it's not just sitting back and watching anymore. You can actually be part of the story.
Exactly. Some VR films let you make choices that change the story. You can explore wherever you want, even interact with the characters. It's a level of engagement you just can't get with regular movies.
I'm getting serious FOMO now. I need to try this VR thing for myself. But before I do, anything else we should be thinking about? Are there any downsides to all this VR awesomeness?
That's a good point. It's important to think about the potential downsides. Like any powerful technology, VR needs to be used responsibly. One concern is overuse and isolation. Spending too much time in virtual worlds could mean you're neglecting your real-world relationships and responsibilities.
Right, it's all about balance, isn't it? Just like anything else, a little escape is fun, but we don't want to lose touch with reality completely.
For sure. And it's important to remember that VR is still developing. There might be some glitches or limitations, but as things improve, those issues will go away.
Yeah, it's like the early days of the internet or smartphones.
Yeah.
There were problems at first, but the potential was so huge, everyone was willing to put up with them.
Exactly. I think we're at a similar point with VR now. The tech is getting better so fast, the content is more diverse and higher quality, and the prices are coming down. It seems like VR is going to be a big part of our lives.
So for our listeners who are ready to jump into VR and 3D, what's the best way to get started?
I'd say do some research and find a headset that fits your budget and what you want to do with it. There are tons of online resources and reviews to help you choose. Then check out the different VR platforms and content libraries and see what interests you. Whether it's classic films, new releases, interactive experiences, or just exploring virtual worlds, there's something for everyone.
This has been amazing. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super excited about the future of VR and 3D. It's like we're at the beginning of a whole new era of entertainment and storytelling.
I totally agree. VR can transport us to new worlds, connect us with each other in these really powerful ways, even change how we understand reality. It's an exciting time to be alive and see this all happening.
And who knows what amazing experiences are coming next. Maybe we'll be hosting this show from a virtual studio on Mars one day.
Anything is possible in VR.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into VR and the return of 3D. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new about the amazing potential of this incredible technology.
And if this conversation got you thinking, we encourage you to keep exploring. Try out a VR experience, read about the latest developments, and most importantly, don't be afraid to dream big about the future.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep your minds open to the possibilities of the future.